Hello everyone, I hope you're having a gorgeous day. I just wanted to pop in and talk about something that is seemingly simple, almost too simple, but extremely important mindset shift that I feel like some of you need to hear or be reminded of, especially if you are feeling any type of resistance or stuckness in your manifestation journey. I'm gonna be doing a lot of air quotes in this video, so just consider yourself warned. But yeah, if you're feeling any type of like stagnation or a little bit like you're stuck in your manifestations, the reason could really be this simple, and in fact it often is, but that's also exactly why it's so easy to overlook. So if this sounds like you, listen up, because it is critical that you get this fundamental concept straightened out in your mind in order to make sure that you are in true alignment with your desires before you embark on any manifestation journey, big or small. But mostly I would say this pertains to the big stuff in your life, because that's usually the things that we find that we have the most internal resistance to. That's why we perceive them as big and more complicated than all of the other smaller, easier stuff that we've already been able to bring about in our lives. Okay, so here it is. You should not be desiring or working towards something because you feel like you have to, for whatever outside reason other than the fact that you love yourself so much that you will just accept nothing less. Because you know that manifesting this thing or state of being, a new way of life perhaps, whatever it is, you know that that will allow you to live your best life, which is what you always deserved in the first place. So that's the only real, pure motivation that should be underlining every single desire in your life. Otherwise, it's not a true or pure desire that's coming from just your own soul. Motivations such as guilt or feeling like you're not good enough if you don't meet a certain standard, not measuring up to expectations of other people, society, your peers, anything where it's like some outside force, an outside ideal is tainting your pull towards this desire. You need to cut that out like a tumor, okay, like a weed.
A weed.
I'm not a weed.
Or else it is very likely to grow roots and maybe taint your entire manifestation mojo in general, which is definitely not what we want, right? So let's say, for example, that you wanted to lose weight, and we're not talking about the case where it's like, okay, your parents wanted you to be a doctor, so you went to school to be a doctor and you became one, but then realized that you were not happy in that profession and that you would rather be an artist. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, in this situation, you already know that this is what you really want. You've checked in with your higher self and you've realized that, yes, this is, my true desire. It's in there deep in my heart. Great. Maybe you put on a few pounds since the pandemic and you want to get back to your slim, trim, and fit self so that you can feel more confident in your own skin, you can slay more outfits, etc., etc. That's great. Here's the thing that you need to be very, very careful of, though. You should not go into manifestation of that weight loss or the higher paying job, whatever, because you think that you fall short of some societal standard, or that you think you're unacceptable somehow because you're not a certain weight, a certain beauty ideal, not making the amount of money that you should be at your age, whatever it is, whatever reasons that the ego is giving you, which we all have. As long as you're human, you're going to have that ego-driven voice talking to you, which is fine as long as you recognize what it is. Same thing with the money example, it's totally fine and valid to want more money. You've identified that that's definitely your true desire in your heart. That's great. But instead of letting your ego-driven thoughts or the thoughts of other people and societal standards lead you in your manifestation, it should be coming from a deeper, more aligned place within yourself, which would sound closer to something like you want more money because you know that it will give you financial freedom. You want the freedom and ability to just do more things that you want in your life without having to worry about the financial aspect, right? Travel more or fly first class to wherever you go. So whenever you catch yourself in a weak moment per se, such as eating too much junk food, right? Maybe you're not even trying to lose weight, but maybe you're just trying to transition to a more healthy lifestyle and you find yourself falling back into old habits of binging on junk food. It is very, very easy and probably automatic, like almost subconscious for most people, especially women, to immediately go into like the negative self-talk type of thoughts. Oh, I veered off my diet again. I failed at following the intermittent fasting protocol. I'm so lazy, I'm so undisciplined, this, that, and the third. I'm never gonna reach my goal weight or goal income. No one's gonna find me attractive, and my life is gonna be ruined because I'm a failure and I'm not cut out for improving my life, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you right now that this is actually not your fault, because this is actually how so many of us have been programmed since we were very young, myself included. So that programming runs very deep and it's very insidious, meaning that it's almost like it's baked into you. When you have something that has been taught and modeled to you from such a young age, especially when you're the most impressionable during your childhood years, it's hard to even distinguish sometimes between what that program is saying versus what your actual real soul is trying to say, but maybe it can't get through to you. It can't get through to your conscious mind because it feels like, I don't know, the programming is telling your soul that they're wrong. So this is something that, it can take a lot of time, depending on the person, to wake up to the fact that this is actually what's going on. Unless you're very, very smart or spiritually awakened already, unless you are lucky enough to be raised by people who are already very highly conscious and taught you to think in a more expansive way, it's very, very easy, and it's not your fault for being susceptible to these kind of low-level programs, we'll say, that have been programmed into the masses since birth. That's why I'm so passionate about making more content to help everyone, but women in particular, basically deprogram themselves, uninstall the old crappy programs that other people have installed in us for their own benefit, not necessarily our own benefit. Sometimes they even tell us that it's for our benefit, but we realize later that that's not the case, and instead install some shiny, new, better programs, okay, upgraded ones that make things run much smoother and easier for ourselves, for our benefit and lives. So whenever you veer into that kind of death spiral of self-hate or like berating yourself as if that's gonna propel yourself closer to your desire somehow, you may very well succeed in manifesting some stuff that way successfully, but it's not sustainable, number one. And number two, it's gonna ensure that your overall journey is going to be fraught with just so much internal conflict and all of this energetically low, self-judgy type of vibration that, again, the way I see it, it completely misses the plot, The plot being conscious manifestation of your desires for the betterment of your overall life experience. Because that's what you deserve in the first place, okay? It's not like, no, you're not being greedy, you're not asking for too much. The reason that you desire something in the first place is because you deserve it. Think of it this way, babies are born into this world not knowing or being able to do anything really other than cry and poop and eat and sleep. And yet they 100% deserve to have an amazing, wonderful life just because they were born. Because first of all, they didn't ask to be born. And unless you're a psychopath, I'm sure you agree with me on this, right? And it's not even, when I say agree, I'm not even talking about on an intellectual level. I'm talking about, like, for me personally, I just feel this innate warm energy coming from my chest when I say things such as babies deserve to live, orphan kittens deserve to be taken care of and to have a great life, That's how I know that it's an actual, like, universal truth, okay? Not just on an intellectual level, but I can feel it in my body, in my nervous system. And so if you agree with me, if you feel the same way about newborn kittens and puppies and such, then you should feel the same way about yourself, because we are no different from a newborn baby or a new puppy. Like, we're all living beings on this planet. There is actually no difference, yet somehow you might have a little inkling of a thought in your mind that for some reason it's different for you. For some reason you have to do things to prove that you deserve whatever it is you want. Aha, well, that's what I would call the programming. But back to the weight loss example, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to, don't get triggered, okay? I'm sorry if this is a sensitive area for you, but it happens to be a really good and straightforward example that I can think of to illustrate this point, so bear with me. Also, I do have two kind of recent anecdotal examples from my real life that pretty much fit exactly what I'm talking about here. So I want to kind of use those to drive this point home. I have two friends who, again, this is very recent. They wanted to lose some weight, and they said to me some things about that where I could feel right away that they had lost the plot, essentially, in their manifestation. So the first one, she was a little unhappy with the weight that she was gaining around particularly the midsection of her stomach. And so I saw that she had decided to book some sessions with a personal trainer. She posted a short video of herself training with the trainer on her Instagram stories, which in itself is really cool, fine, right? But then what struck me was the caption that she decided to write underneath that video, which was something to the effect of, starting this week, I am going to bully and beat my stomach into submission. This was in Japanese, so I'm translating here, but that was basically the gist of what she said, which I almost couldn't believe it because I've never heard anyone actually use that type of language before, especially in regards to weight loss. There's no direct equivalent phrase in English, but she used specific words like bully and beat down. Losing the plot, okay? Why do you have to beat down your stomach into submission as if your stomach or your body is inherently wrong somehow? Like, why are you approaching weight loss from a mental space of, well, my body right now is wrong and bad? No, the whole reason that you want to lose weight and have a healthier, slimmer body is because that's how much you love yourself, you know? And you know that your body deserves to look its best, feel its best, which will in turn contribute to you living your best life overall. So like, where is the beat down and punishment of your body going to lead you to in the long run? And by the way, at which point are you going to be satisfied enough with your waistline so that you stop punishing it? 25 inches, 24 inches? Chances are, even if you do reach whatever target number that you have in your mind, does that mean you're gonna all of a sudden be able to switch off this negative self-talk habit that you've now formed of berating and hating your body? Basically, I don't think so. So to me, that's like losing the plot. I have another friend who, like, for some reason, every time we link up or check up with each other, for some reason, without any prompting from me whatsoever, because I don't talk about weight randomly with my friends ever, but for some reason she always mentions her weight situation to me whenever we meet up. She'll be like, oh yeah, I'm still 10 kilos or 5 kilos overweight, you know, crying face emoji. I'm still this, I still have to lose that amount. And it's like, but 10 kilos, 7 kilos, whatever it is, over what though? Please show me this imaginary threshold or number that you seem to see but I can't see, that says that you are now deemed acceptable if you're under a certain number. Let's just say it's like, I don't know, 50 kilos, right? And while this is definitely less extreme than the other girl saying that she wanted to literally beat and bully her stomach into submission, again, we are losing the plot here, because what she is saying, what my second friend is saying on a subconscious level over and over again, is that the way that she is now at her current weight is not good enough for XYZ, you know, wearing the clothes that she wants or doing pole dancing or whatever activity. He said that I'm good enough, grabbing my da-da-da, thinking about things that he shouldn't have. Oh my god, okay, slight tangent. That song is so catchy, but like, I'm conflicted because I don't really like the overall theme of the lyrics. It's basically about a girl in a situationship with a guy who is only using her for sex, and then she's over here getting her feelings hurt because she knows deep down that he considers her only good enough for, you know, hookups or whatever. I don't know about you, but song lyrics, anything that I'm going to be listening to repeatedly, I don't want that type of message impressed into my mentality on a subconscious level. So sorry, Ice Spice, like, I really want you to win, but I can't even listen to that song on repeat like that. Anyway, on with the story. So for the second weight scenario, she was basically like, okay, only at this weight or this number am I good enough for XYZ. What she is really saying, what I was able to detect between the lines, is that the underlying belief that I cannot do certain things, or I'm not allowed to do certain things or be a certain way until I get my weight down to below an acceptable line, whatever that imaginary line is. And like, it's fine to have a goal weight, a goal number in mind. I think we all have an ideal number, but that's supposed to, like, okay, everything is supposed to serve you, right? So let's say that you do have a goal weight, a goal number of, let's say, 50 kilograms in mind. The reason that you would have that number is just so that you can have, you know, a clear picture of what your ideal outcome is. If it's not serving you, if it's leading you to these thoughts of, well, I can't do this, and, you know, like limiting yourself from certain situations and scenarios unless you are at that number, then that becomes detrimental and it's not serving you at that point. Like, you don't have to get rid of the number altogether, but I would say don't focus on the number then, right? Because it's having a detrimental net effect if it influences you to only, if it's pulling you down into more limiting beliefs. I hope this is making sense. And you know, it's crazy because I can see this already playing out with my second friend, right? Like I can see her holding back somehow in certain areas of her life. I can see it. Like I would never just say this to her or call her out on it unless she actually came to me for advice. But I can see that she's playing small and holding back in certain areas because of this BS belief, like dressing super plain, you know, dressing in all black. Not saying that everyone is or necessarily wants to be a fashionista like me, but yeah, I can tell that if she was a little bit lighter or closer to her ideal goal weight, she would definitely be dressing a little more fashionable and like at the very least not restricting herself from doing certain activities, which I know that she's doing now. Okay, she doesn't know that I know, but I know. Here's a radical idea, all right? What if you could 100% love and cherish the body that you're in right now and also deserve to lose weight? And I'm not saying like, okay, if you're feeling not super satisfied with your physical appearance as it is now, I'm not saying that you have to walk outside in a bikini or hot pants, you know, booty shorts if that makes you feel uncomfortable. But for example, if you're someone that normally likes to wear designer clothes, high quality, well-designed clothes, don't go from shopping at Vivienne Westwood to shopping at Uniqlo now just because you gained a few pounds over the pandemic. You still deserve the Vivienne Westwood level quality of clothing, okay? Every step along your weight loss manifestation journey, you should keep your standard where it is. You know, it shouldn't change from whether you're 20 pounds over your goal weight, 10 pounds over, 5 pounds over, whether you're under it, even you're still that bitch that wears Vivienne Westwood, okay? Like, don't get it twisted. Same with money, you know, love and appreciate and be totally thankful for that regular $60,000 salary job that you're working at right now. And you know that you deserve to make 6 figures without having to lift a finger somewhere down the road. It doesn't have to be either or, but the problem is that we are programmed more often than not to think like, okay, if I'm going to be chubbier and overweight, then I have to feel bad about myself. Then I have to downgrade myself to Uniqlo clothes or fast fashion. And then only when I'm thinner or I'm closer to my goal weight, then I can feel good about myself and treat my body better. No, it doesn't work that way. If you develop the habit of treating your body as less than or as only worthy of fast fashion clothes when you're overweight, then you're still going to carry that limited mentality into the future thinner you, right? Like you're not just gonna shift overnight. You need to start practicing that mentality and the physical actions of giving yourself what you know that you deserve no matter where you are currently in the present moment. It's kind of like when people ask you, are you a cat person or a dog person? And it's like, oh, I didn't know I had to choose. Why can't I like both? I'm an animal lover in general, right? There's many animals that I like. Cats and dogs happen to both be under the umbrella of all the animals that I like. But you know, I'll tell you something, and this may be kind of like a silly little example, but as a child growing up, I didn't realize for a long time that there was the option of being both a cat and a dog person. I didn't know that there was the option to like both precisely because of that question, cat person or dog person. So you see how like contagious and stubborn this programming is sometimes, even down to the most seemingly mundane things. Like imagine if I had gone into my adult years thinking still that I could only choose cat or dog. A lot of adults I know still actually believe that you can only be a cat or dog person, right? Like, it's crazy. So let's wrap this video up. What I'm trying to say in a nutshell is don't lose the plot, okay? The correct way to go about weight loss or money or relationship manifestations is you love yourself so much and you know that you are so important and so cherished that you deserve 1000% to live the life of your dreams with your dream body, okay, dream weight, dream income and partner, all the things. That is the reason always that should be propelling you forward in your manifestation. That's the attitude that you need to apply to everything, especially things that seem a little bit harder to bring about or that maybe require a little bit more discipline from you. That's the true meaning of self-love too, by the way. It's not like, oh, just love yourself the way you are now, flaws and all, and you never have to make any changes in your life because, you know, everyone in the world should just support and love me for doing the bare minimum. No. Unfortunately, the term self-love has also been so co-opted these days by political agendas and whatnot. Well, let's not even go there. Anyway, I hope this was helpful and clarifying for whoever needed to hear it. Remember, don't lose the plot, okay? If you find yourself steering off course, that's fine. It happens to everyone, myself included. We are all human, but make sure you get in the habit of recognizing that quickly and steering yourself back onto the right track. Trust me, you don't want to go there, okay? You don't want to buy into other people's agendas or programming you with their own limiting beliefs. Sometimes they even think that they're helping you, right? Sometimes our parents teach or pass down things to us that they think is helping us, but it's actually harmful or limiting ourselves in the long run. You know, things are rarely ever black and white. That's why it's so important to write your own script for your life. Write your own programs and your own rules that serve you. You reserve every single right to uninstall that faulty program. You know, get rid of that virus, wipe your computer / subconscious free of that virus, and install your own programs that are better serving for your life. So I hope this was helpful for whoever needed to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!